I guess I'll take it.
Take it.
Welcome to the first episode of the Swoosh Hoops podcast, all things basketball. You got myself here, my man Armani, and then you got my guy, my brother Eric. You know what I'm saying? So huge basketball fans here. We talk about it every day, all day, right? So, again, this is just a non-biased. Don't mind the hat. Non-biased,
Don't
opinionated.
mind my background.
Yeah, right. Opinionated.
Don't mind the shirt either.
Basketball talk here, and again, we're talking all things NBA. Um, and yeah, let's get it started, right? So, who are we, right, and what we are, and again, we're just casuals, right? But casuals that understand the game and that are not too into this the hype, right? And the names of the players is actually like what goes on the court. What are we looking at? How are we analyzing the game? And giving proper feedback. And again, it may be way out there, and it may not be, but this is what this platform is for. And we look to have our listeners on board. Just talk basketball, man, and this is what we do.
Yep, that's what we do. So my name is Eric. Um, I'm the only Nick fan on the panel, unfortunately. Um,
Yikes.
been a, I know. Been a Nick fan since since I was like 6 years old. But I am a big NBA fan, so I do watch a lot of NBA. I'm not one of these casuals who like only watch NBA finals and big games. And no, I do watch a whole lot of basketball, so I know my stuff. So you want to hear some takes that we're not going to agree on, but it's an informal conversation about what we see in our view of the NBA, what's happening on the on the court, front office, free agent moves,
Hmm.
drafts, playoffs, um, trade deadline, and especially because since training camp is only 4 weeks away, the start of training camp is right around the corner on September
Yeah, man.
28th. So there's a lot going on right now, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of noise coming up on training camp. So we're gonna stick around with us, like and subscribe our channel, so we can get the likes up, get the subscribers up, and just stay tuned.
Facts, and follow us on IG as well too, for real.
Yes, IG.
Yes, follow us on Instagram at the swoosh underscore hoops underscore podcast. And look out for a lot more content coming out soon. Again, this is our first episode. It's our first time coming together to do this, so bear with us, right, as we explore this and make this bigger than what we imagine it to be. So, those who are listening, thank you, right, and yeah, shoot us DMs about your questions. If you want to be on the show, things of that nature, and we'll get it set up. Again, we can't attend to everybody, but we will definitely consider and have everyone involved as needed. So, um, first we start off, right? Eric already said it. His favorite team is the Knicks, right? Armani, floor is yours.
All right, so what's good, y'all? My name is Armani, and I'm a Lakers fan. Like, come on, man.
Yes, sir.
There's no other team to be a fan of now. But I've been a Lakers fan since since I was 4 years old. Been watching the team like just my whole life. I watch all the ups, I watch all the downs,
A lot
all
of
the
downs.
heartbreaks. And with that being said, my favorite player is the one and only Kobe B. Well, when I was growing up, when I was like about like 4 or 5 years old, I was a huge Shaq fan. I remember that one of the first jerseys I got. I was also an AI fan. I had the cornrows and everything, had the headband, and I was the trendsetter in the hood, So, but then when the departure between Kobe and Shaq happened, I was just like, it was kind of like Batman and Superman like turning against each other. It was just like, whoa, like what's going on? You know what I mean? Um, but I had to pick a side. I stayed loyal to Kobe, and yeah, I've just been a big Kobe fan ever since. So yeah, just like what Eric said, we watch basketball on a regular basis. we're not casual. We just don't watch the NBA finals. We just don't watch like the primetime games. We watch the games that we watch the Sacramento Kings games. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah, man.
games that nobody care about, and we all have our own opinions about it. So just like Eric said, you might hear some takes that you don't agree with. We're not ESPN, you know what I mean? But
Yeah. Yeah, no Stephen
but
A's or Skip Bayless
no
is
no
here, man.
Stephen A's, no
No
Kenny
Max Kellerman's
Crumpets,
here.
no carry ons, you know what I mean?
Nah,
but but we just try to keep real. We're gonna have fun doing this.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
definitely.
So we'll get into it. Well, first, hey guys, my name is Ernest. Um, as you can see, Laker fan. Been a Laker fan, woof, very long time. I would say, um, at first, growing up as a kid, the phenomenon was Michael Jordan, right? And that was the end all be all of everything. So Michael was the one who drew me to the game of basketball. And for that, I've always been a fan. Um, he is one of the greatest players of all time. Again, we'll get into those takes. uh, and after I would say 98, right? Not even 98, 97. Shaq was like a player that was like larger than life, right? We got the Kazams and all that stuff, and you know, um, and I was a fan of Shaq, but what drew me to the Lakers was Shaquille O'Neal. But Kobe Bryant, there was something about his like swag at the time, the afro, the Adidas that looked like space boots. You know what I'm saying?
Solid,
The silver ones.
Right.
Ooh.
solid.
And and then back then my favorite shoe was, and I'm a crazy sneakerhead as you can see, was the Crazy Eights, right? So as a kid that just drew to me, and then ever since I just been riding with Code, man, and that just turned into a long time, forever, in a day Laker fan. And been through a lot of ups, right? A lot of successes, and I was happy to see at the very least six championships. Um,
Yeah.
and witnessing that, and then you know, favorite player of all time is Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. That was the guy. Yes, sir. That was the guy that made me understand that basketball was just more than a game, from that aspect. So, and then again, we're not going to get too much into the autobiography of my life story, but yeah, Lakers, Kobe, again, unbiased Laker fan though, right? I'm very, 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 very rational when it comes to what the Lakers need to do or what I think they should do, what's working, what's not working, stuff like that. So, but yeah, looking forward to a great season, right, coming up. Has some high expectations for us. A lot of rest, so we can't use as an excuse. But right, so and again, we'll talk about the nuances of that as we get in deeper into the show today. But yeah, that's the intro. And let's go into our first topic, right? So now, as you know, the season's upon us. We're gonna get into the Eastern Conference thick of things, and we're gonna give our predictions. How you guys want to formulate it? We'll go team by team, right? You guys will have the floor. Discuss what your predictions are for that team, and then we'll all give our thoughts around that. So, Eric, you want to kick that off?
All right, so we're gonna start with the team that finished in first. No, actually, let's start with the defending champs, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, let's give them their respect. Let's give them their
Yeah,
respect.
give them their
Let's give
respect.
them
I
their
mean,
respect. Let's give them their respect.
what they because what they did last year, and this whole narrative of they couldn't get it done the last previous 2 years in the bubble against the Miami Heat, and then 2 years ago
Yeah,
at Toronto when they
it
blew
was
that
warranted.
series.
It
It
was
was warranted,
warranted.
yes. But I thought the moves they made last offseason, getting Drew Holiday and PJ Tucker,
Hmm.
that that told us that they're going for it. They need to cash in on the chip because Giannis was 1 foot. I had 1 foot out the door.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, what they did during the season and especially during the playoffs, survive, first sweeping the Miami Heat, who beat them up last year in the bubble. They
That was a
just
state.
that was a state that was a
That
statement.
was,
And then for them to be down 0-2 against Brooklyn, survive Game 5, Kevin Durant, Game 6 come back, and then having to go back to Brooklyn, survive Kevin Durant 2.0, and if it wasn't for his 18 shoe in a turnaround three in a Game 7, they're probably home. And then
facts.
overtime, you had Middleton came up big late, hit the game winning shot, and then for them on, they dispatched the Hawks in 6, even though
Hmm.
they gave him trouble, and then to be down 0-2 finals, having to win 4 of the next 5, they just for some odd reason they came up so big defensively. Drew Holiday on Chris Paul and Devin Booker was huge,
Right.
and then Game 6, Giannis just like
Yeah, he put up a 50 piece,
when
man.
when was the last time a MVP caliber player put up that type of stat, 50 points, 10 rebounds in the closeout NBA Finals game?
Did
Yeah.
he have like 5 blocks too, or something
Yeah, he
like
did.
that?
Yeah, yep,
Yo,
Yep.
yep. So them, I know they lost PJ Tucker. They re-signed Bobby Portis, which I thought he came in huge,
that was a good,
especially in the
yeah.
finals. That was a good re-sign for them.
Yeah. And
Um,
the crazy thing is, sorry to cut you off, Giannis in the
yeah,
playoffs last year averaged 35, 13, and 5. Like that, we haven't seen numbers like that since Shaq. Like we just gotta, the whole notion of, who's the best player. At the end of the day, like, and Shannon Sharps had said this on Undisputed, I believe it was today. Um,
yeah, it was today. Yeah,
Giannis has to be the best player because everyone talks about updating the resume, right? So when Kawhi won the chip, everyone was like, "Oh, Kawhi, 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 Kawhi,
Yep.
Kawhi," right?
Mhm.
And then literally, and remember, the Clippers were deemed the favorites because of what Kawhi did the previous year in Toronto, right? Then they jump and LeBron wins the chip the following year, right? Albeit through the bubble and all that stuff, but they got it done. And he was the best player for like 2 seconds, and then it went to Kevin Durant all of a sudden, and it's still like this notion of Kevin Durant is still better. And yes, skill wise and everything, he's probably the best offensive player and offensive scorer we've ever seen. Um, but at the same time, right, it's all about updating your resume. And right now, you'd have to say Giannis is the best player in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, he is
And his
MVP
his
Finals. But look, but check this out.
uh,
Look at his career though. Defensive Player of the Year,
Yeah, yep,
two-time
yeah.
MVP, Finals MVP.
yep.
If
And
he
he was at
retires
26.
now, he's only 26, and if he retires, doesn't play any
Insane.
more basketball games, Hall of Famer. Who's a Hall
Yeah,
of Famer?
he's a Hall of
It's a
Famer
Hall of
for sure.
Famer.
That season he had that playoff run. That low key reminds me of LeBron back in 2012. I believe his first year with the Heat. Like he was
Yep.
like undisputed. Like pretty much he
Hmm.
damn near could have won every award. Like I know, I think Marc Gasol had won DPOY that year, beat him out like DPO so. But he was on pace
Right.
to win. Well, he won MVP. He won championship. I think I might be talking about the following season when the Heat had won like 20 something games, but also he won Finals MVP and he went on to what is it? 2012 Olympics. 2012. Where was it? London. London, right? London.
London. Yeah.
Don't want a gold medal too. So like that was a undisputed season right there, you know. And just Giannis, the run that he had last year, like what all the awards, all the accolades, he had, like you said, Eric. Like if he was to retire today, like his name is up there. His name is
Yeah,
up
man.
there.
Hmm.
He had a
Yeah, for
crazy,
sure.
yeah.
So
So
give us your prediction on what you think the Bucks will do. I would
record
say,
wise,
yeah. Give us your prediction on what do you think they're going to do this year.
record wise, I got him over 50 wins. I give him
Okay, that's
56,
reasonable.
56-26.
Yeah.
Um, I just think where they are right now is house money. It's everything's gravy. They did what they
Hmm.
supposed to do. Mike
Hmm.
Budenholzer, they give him a contract extension because there were reports saying that if he didn't make it out of the second
Oh,
round, he
he
would have
was gonna
been.
be gone.
He was gonna be gone. He was gonna be gone.
Yeah,
We gave him a
So
lot of crap last
they
year
get a
yeah.
for this time in.
and and rightfully so because like the way he was playing Giannis and Chris Middleton, thinking, okay, you have these two guys, you got to make sure you use them in the proper way, you
Right.
know. And he, I felt like he ran them both. He ran Giannis to the ground a lot
Hmm.
because and plus they didn't have the outside the necessary um the supporting cast
Right.
that they needed. So for them to get those upgrades last off season to help them cash in and win the championship, now it's more of the pressure's off them, pressure's off Giannis. They can coast wherever, and then by March April they be ready to go for playoffs, and then by the time April rolls around, it's business as usual and time to repeat.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'll probably say probably like between 50 and like probably like between 50 and 60 games. I can't give you an accurate number of what I think the Bucks is going to do, but just the loss of PJ Tucker might hurt them a little bit. But they added what is it, George Hill, Grayson Allen, who kind of has a
Yeah,
bad rep in the league, you know. Like, but I feel like he's going to contribute to that defensive mentality that the Bucks have been preaching or been trying to preach for the past couple of years. And also, I believe he signed somebody else named Rodney Hood, who
yes, hmm
also got to redeem himself. I know in Utah he was doing his thing. Then he went to Portland. He unfortunately got hurt. So this is kind of like, all right, we don't need you to do much, you know.
and he went to
Just
Cleveland, and also went to
and he
Cleveland.
went to Cleveland. Yeah, that's
He
right.
was part of that finals team, but
Right.
didn't really show out because LeBron.
Right. The LeBron effect, you know what I mean? But I
Hmm
mean, I feel like they're just not going to ask him to do much. Well, much is not expected from him. You know what I'm saying? So you're not taking a real L, you know, and signing him back or signing him to the team. So I think the Bucks they're going to be all right. They're gonna fare well. Just that the East just got just tough all around. You know what I'm saying? Especially from last year.
Um, no, I agree. I think the Bucks this year. See, the thing is though, the Bucks are going to lose a certain. What I'm afraid of is that the Bucks lose a certain amount of edge. And what I mean by that is that losing PJ Tucker kind of gave them a formula to one. It's easier for them to go small because PJ Tucker is more keen to guarding fours and fives, right? Because he did that in Houston, and he did well with that in Milwaukee. Um, and I think him going to Miami is like super crucial for them, and I think that kind of hurts Milwaukee on that end. Um, Grayson Allen is to me is actually a sleepy pickup for them.
Hmm.
He actually played really well with the Grizzlies the last couple of years he was there, and I think he can provide a how can I say he can provide a certain type of spark off the bench in this like uh he plays really gritty, right? He's one of those like get in your face, dive on the floor, type of players. He may not get you 20 points a game, right? But he can get you eight, he can get you 10 in good spurts. Um, so I think adding him helps. Um, Rodney Hood, he's hit or miss. Rodney Hood is hit or miss. I think his production is redundant in a sense where where will he fit, right? He's so because when you put in the bench unit, right, for that team, is he going to be that first option that's going to you know keep the point production up, right? I think Bobby Portis may actually play that role, um, while Giannis is on the bench, unless again Budenholzer throws in a mixture of you have Middleton in with the bench unit or Drew
Yeah,
Holiday
that's
in
what
with
a
the
lot of
bench
teams
unit.
do. That's what a
Right.
lot of teams
So,
do.
but I just think losing PJ Tucker for them hurts. I do think they'll win 50 plus games, just because by virtue it's the Eastern Conference. And not saying the Eastern Conference has gotten weaker, it's gotten definitely stronger. I just feel as if they're more keen to taking the regular season more seriously then I say Brooklyn, right? So I think I see them at 51, 55 games, winning this year as a top 2 or 3 seed in the East. Well, 1 to 3. It doesn't, no matter how you put that. Um, and I just feel I I just hope they don't have like a championship hangover, right? Where they think, okay, we
Mm.
did what we were supposed to do, right? And then like we could just coast because that team in Brooklyn can probably say if it wasn't for the injuries, we would have won the chip.
And that's what
I'm pretty
that's what
confident in
that's what
saying
they
that.
are saying. That's what they
Right?
are
Yeah.
saying.
That's what they've been
James
Um,
Harden.
saying.
James Harden already came out and said if we're healthy, no one can beat us. That's cat,
it,
James Harden. That's cat. But anywho, so I think the Bucks will be a top 3 seed. Again, adding Grayson Allen was a good pickup. George Hill, again, is a good backup. He's better than Jeff Teague, in my opinion, at least at this point in his career in this stage. He can provide the shooting along with, you have Pat how you pronounce his last name?
Pat
Pat
Connaughton.
Connaughton.
Pat
Connaughton.
Cottington, right? So again, he's another gritty player, and him and Grayson Allen to me are one and the same. It's just that Pat is a better shooter. So we'll see how that fares out together. But I still think their nucleus is still intact with Giannis,
Mhm.
Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. I think with them getting a taste of that championship um, success is going to propel them to kind of want to relive that again, if that makes sense. So I got them penciled in as like a top 3 seed for sure.
I was also going to mention about Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
You
he was
know,
lost
out.
him. He was out.
He was
yeah,
out in the
we
playoffs.
don't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think we. I mean, maybe you guys know, but what's the timetable on his injury? So I think the whole Grayson Allen thing will also. He will also get some minutes as well too, like you said, Ern. Like he's a gritty dude up in your face. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like our Alex Caruso. You know what I mean? But um, but yeah, I definitely think it's gonna hold him down like off the bench. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Next
All
team
right.
up. Oh, you had something, Eric? Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna do the next team.
Yeah,
Who
go
you
ahead.
would
Yep.
next team? Since we mentioned them before, the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh boy. Let me take this one first. Let me take this one
Yes,
first
please,
because
please,
I got a lot of
please.
Brooklyn Net fans out there. And it's a lot of talk. It's crazy. A lot of talk back and forth, right? And neither team got to where they needed to be last year, right? So it's all good and fun, right? I do say this: we do need a LeBron James versus Kevin Durant finals before LeBron retires. So that has to happen, just from a fan's perspective. But needless to say, I got Brooklyn penciled in at 48 to 52 wins. Only reason is because I
Hmm.
don't think they will take the regular season as serious as maybe the Bucks or the Sixers or the Heat. Meaning they're going to prioritize health over anything else. It does not matter. It does not care. Like they don't want to be in a situation where they're hobbled in the playoffs, and because they lost, it's because they didn't have one or two of the stars playing. Um, I I know they added Paul Millsap. Doesn't move the needle for me, but I see where the addition makes sense.
And they
Lamar,
also added back on LaMarcus
Lamarcus
Aldridge.
Aldridge is back. I'm glad he's healthy, so that's
Yeah,
really good. I'm glad to see that.
They got
And again,
Patty
he was
Mills
great
too.
for them. Huh? What you say?
Patty Mills, he's a sniper.
Yes,
that's right.
and
That's
and
a
Patty
sneaky
Mills.
good move for them.
That's a sneaky good move. It to
Yeah.
me, to me,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
last year they made Andre Drummond look like Shaq. So to me, I think they're gun hold on just offense, and we're gonna beat you on offense. Our defense would be mediocre, middle of the pack ish, right? It won't be the worst defensive team, but it won't be the best. So they'll have their lapses, but to think that they're unbeatable, that is, we're gonna wait and see on that. I got them penciled in at 48 to 52 wins, only because I think they're just going to prioritize the playoffs over the regular season, and they're going to think health is more important. Because if you think during the dog days of the NBA in February, if they're in Oklahoma City, Kevin Durant's not playing, James Harden's not playing, Kyrie Irving's probably on another leave, right? So, we have to and respect the guy. He does so many great things. Let me stop the slander. He does so many great things for like off the court. Like honestly, like he's a stand up dude for sure. Um, but in all seriousness, I just think the Nets are going to prioritize the postseason over the regular season. Is going to be a lot of low management happening. And there's going to be times where they're going to look phenomenal, where they're going to just run teams off the floor. Like that's just because offensively, there's really nothing you can do to stop them. Like if you really look at the game and really understand what they can do on offense, you just hope and pray that they just have a bad shooting night. Now there are ways to contain that, right? Like Kevin Durant cancels out everybody. You can't guard that man. But if you get physical with Kyrie Irving, that may disrupt his game a little bit, right? James Harden, James Harden to a fault sometimes fails at his own detriment because he foul hunts a lot, right?
Yep.
So if you could get in
And
the head,
remember, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and also remember the NBA, they changed the rules now. You can't
Right.
know
So
there's no more foul hunting. You cannot bait defenders
you can't you
to
can't
your
bait the
shot.
you can't bait the defender, right? So it has to be a actual move, right? So it can't be in a sense where I'm forcing contact into the defender. Like if I'm doing my dribble, right, that that James Harden does, and I
Hmm.
do a pump fake, right, and then the defender is jumping straight up because he went for the fake, but then I'm jumping into the defender to make contact. They're not going to call that a foul
Yep.
anymore, right? Just
And
just
that's
just
No.
James
to
Harden
in
right there.
layman's terms to explain what's going on. So
Hmm.
I think to James Harden's detriment, at times he foul hunts a lot, but he's a great passer. He's proven that he can run the point guard for that team. And I just, in my opinion, I just think they're the favorites to come out the East just because of the star power alone. And you couple that with their bench play. Now, their starting five is probably going to be, depending on LaMarcus Aldridge's health, you're going to have LaMarcus Aldridge at the five. Your four would be Blake Griffin. Your your three would be KD. Your two would be Kyrie Irving, and your one would be James Harden. Now, that might not work, right? They may just say, in my opinion, they should start Nick Claxton. I think Nick Claxton
He's a
puts them
stud.
better, yeah, defensively, right? He's a rim protector. He's athletic. He can catch lobs. He can roll to the basket. He can rebound. He can run the floor. So, in my opinion, I think Nick Claxton should start at the five and Katie should start at the four, right? And then you
Hmm.
figure the rest out, right? You'll have
Yep.
Joe Harris at the three. Your two would be Kyrie
Hmm.
Irving, and your one would be James Harden. I think that's the ideal starting lineup. But if and my I just feel like maybe the front office or the locker room doesn't think he's he doesn't have just the experience yet. He's not a vet. He's a young guy, and what they're trying to do, he may not necessarily it may not translate to the court. So they may go with the veteran guy like Marcus Aldridge or even Paul Millsap or Blake Griffin. So, but I got them penciled in 48 wins to 52 wins.
But I mean, like, just to the point about them not taking the season seriously, I figured, I mean, if I'm a coach, I'm throwing in Nick Claxton just to see what he's got. Um, just it's like when the playoffs come, like in those type of situations where you have like somebody like Marcus Aldridge who doesn't play really good defense, especially at this age he's at now. Same thing with Paul Millsap. Same thing with Blake Griffin. I throw in Nick Claxton. I have nothing to lose, you know, especially in the regular season. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets and I know I got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, three of the top 10 players on the team, and I'm just taking it lightly. Oh, no, pretty much the same energy that the Lakers had last year. You know, like no
Mm-hmm.
matter where we're seated, we're still gonna win the championship. If they have that same mentality, play him, play Nick Claxton, see what he can do. He can catch lobs, he can block shots, just like every other big in the NBA that does. You know,
Right.
um, and then like the same skill set. So I believe when that time comes, you know, if you find yourself in a situation where like you gotta kind of shuffle up your rotations, that's when Nick Claxton, that's when you insert him into the lineup, yo. Now, if you need like just first seating, that's when somebody like LaMarcus Aldridge or like Paul Millsap comes into play. But I'll say as far as like record wise, I'll probably give them like 50 to 55 wins, just because who they have on the team. But
Mm-hmm.
Ernest, I know saying that they value help, so I'm just trying to see how that stack, like going through like the course of an 82 game. It's 82 games this year, right? We doing
Yes,
82.
Yeah.
82
Yeah. Full season.
full season back to
I'm
the
trying to
calendar
see
year.
how. how they will hold up, and also like the role plays, how they will be hold up too, because everybody's looking at the Lakers, everybody's looking at the Nets and see if we can get through a course of 82 games because of all the older guys we have on our team. But I would say like about 50, 55 wins.
Okay.
Ernest, I think you just hit it dead on the head of like just all the situations that may happen, and talking about all the guys who they have on the team. But um, I would say that the standout for me of that team that kind of made me go like, oh snap, was Patty Mills. Like we all agreed on earlier. That
I
was just
wanted Patty too, man.
I did too. I did too. I did too. I remember like even when Patty Mills was a Spur, like back when he was winning the chip and going against the Miami, he was that brother that don't miss. He that guy does not miss. Like I've never seen him miss a three. Obviously, he doesn't shoot 100%, but still, like he's a sniper, and I think that's a good look for the Nets right there. Now,
Yeah.
is he going to be able to carry weight like for an 82 game season? No, I'm not saying he's going to go out there and average like 20 points to keep him up afloat, but he's going to give you like calm 8 to 12 points off just probably like just straight 3-pointers. You know what I mean? But that's where I got the Nets at for this season. So it's going to be a battle between them and Milwaukee for who's going to get the top spot in the Eastern Conference this year.
All right, so my thing for the Nets,
Unbiased because he's a Knicks fan,
yeah,
so
yeah, it's like
unbiased here.
I'm trying to be as down the middle as I can. Okay, so I got them winning at least around 50 to 55. Vegas has them over 54 and a half. That's kind of a high number because I just think they're going to prioritize health and agree with you, Ernest and Astradamus. They're going to prioritize health over the duration of the season, and I could see them easily saying themselves, "We don't. It doesn't matter where we finish in the standings.
Hmm.
If we're healthy by playoff time, we're going to just run rough shot through the East.
We could beat anybody.
We could be
Exactly.
anyone."
Yeah.
So I can see that happening with them. Um, I'm st- I'm still concerned about Kyrie and his where he is mentally because is we're gonna have portions of the season where he's gonna be in and out. You know, is he there mentally and is he gonna have another like stretch of games where you have a personal PTO and is he gonna be there physically and mentally? So you just gotta watch out for that. James Harden, he's coming back from that hamstring.
And
Um,
albeit James Harden came into camp last year
way out of shape.
way out of shape because he wanted out of Houston, so he's
Yeah, he
going to
went
look
out.
totally different this year.
Yeah, I
I
can
think
see that.
he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah, I think he'll be
I
fine.
just
For sure.
and I think the starting five is going to be KD at the four. No, KD. Blake at the four. James Harden, the starting point. Kyrie, and then KD, and then I think Nick Claxton will get the start. Also, don't forget you still got Bruce. They still got Bruce Brown.
I totally forgot about
Yeah,
him.
you forgot about Bruce
Buster.
Brown. Joe Harris is looking to bounce back after that disappearing of a playoff series against the Bucks, and they added
True.
Patty Mills, who's a sharpshooter, and they also drafted Cam Thomas from LSU, sharpshooter.
Yeah, and he actually had a
Yeah,
great summer
he had a
league
great summer
too.
league. I
He
wanted
did.
him. I wanted him.
What
I
I
Yeah,
meant
wanted
to
the Knicks to
say
draft
is,
him. I wanted the Knicks to
Nets,
draft him.
Nets
So
fans, y'all still got faith in Joe Harris? That's what I'm gonna say.
yeah, because last after no, because it was after last year after the no show they were trying to trade him. They were trying, yo, we want trade Joe Harris. I'm thinking, yo, we'll take
yeah.
Joe Harris. But yeah, so I think this team they're top two easy in the East finish. If they remain healthy, and that's a big if
Yeah,
well actually no if they are healthy by the time March April rolls around and they get into form starting against the playoffs,
yeah, they're running through
they
the
should
East. I'm sorry.
they should be the clear cut favorite to come out the East.
Yeah, for sure.
So as far as winning the championship,
Well,
That
let's
remains
pump
to
the
be seen.
brakes.
Let's
Let's
see.
pump the brakes.
Let's see how things break in the Western Conference,
Yeah.
and then hopefully you get the Lakers next NBA Finals that everyone, ESPN, Fox Sports is begging for. Okay, so Nets, I think they between 52 and 55 wins, top two finish in the East, and this should be a clear cut favorite if healthy to win the East, to come out and get to the finals.
All right.
All right, so the next team, and this team has been making a lot of noise this offseason after
Here we go.
their unceremoniously second round exit, the
Here we
Philadelphia
go.
76ers. I
Oh
mean,
boy.
Jesus. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I'm still in shock at how they lost that series. I mean,
Yeah.
how you blow 3 games in that series, game four, lose an 18-point lead, loss. Game five, which that's where to me they lost that series. You lose a 25-point lead at home and
Yeah,
lose.
that was the turning point. That was the series right there.
And then game seven was just like,
And again, they were up
what
in game
happened? They were
seven.
up. They were up. They were up.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now we got trade rumors flying around Ben Simmons.
All right,
He
let me.
just now let's go there because it's been a lot of noise coming out from Ben Simmons saying that he doesn't want to be there. So now let's see what
Okay,
happens.
so let me
Go
ask
ahead,
this
Armando. You
question
take. Yeah, go ahead.
real
Take
quick.
it, take it,
So
take it.
let me ask you a
I need
question:
your
Is
takes.
he? Do you guys see him being traded before the season or like midway through the season,
He's getting
or
traded
trade that
before
at
the
all
season. There is
before
no
the season?
way.
But
And
who's going to take him though?
here's plenty of people will take him. Trust me. Here's the thing, right? So there's a there's a thing in the stock market, right? What that they call you. What you do is you you buy the rumor, right, and you sell the news, right? And like
Yeah,
or it could be the other way around. I could be wrong, but
it's like a pump and dump,
yeah. So
pump and dump.
here
Yeah,
here's the thing. The Sixers are seeming as if no one wants Ben Simmons because the asking price that they're asking for.
it's
You
way
see what I'm
high.
saying? It's way too high because
It's way high.
those same teams that he's trying to trade for, right? The trade to rather, they're like, yo, we just saw what y'all are trying to trade him for. Like we just seen that, right? So to act as if he wants a Harden esque deal for Ben Simmons, I understand because he's a 3-time, 4-time, 5-time maybe All Star. Um, oh no, he's like a 4-time All Star, I think.
Full time All
Um,
Star.
4-time All Star. Came up second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Um, Rookie of the Year. I just think Ben Simmons to me will not be on the 76ers before the season starts because one, you don't want that surrounding your organization when you start the year. Like it's bad enough that the minute they lost game seven, the trade rumors like kicked off, right? The minute. Mind you, even during the season they were trying to trade Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah, for
Because they're
James
trying to
Harden.
get in they're trying to get in the James Harden sweepstakes. So I just think Daryl Morey is trying to play hardball, right, with the rest of the organization, with the rest of the league. Um, but a lot of other teams, well, most of the teams in the league are like, yo, we're not capitulating to what you're asking because one, we know the situation is very bad. He does not want to come back. The ball is not in Philadelphia's court. Like that's what they need to understand that they don't have the leverage anymore.
It's
Ben
Ben
Simmons has
Simmons
all the leverage because he does not want to return and he's willing to forego $1.8 million a week
training
to
camp.
not report to camp.
Training
Like
camp.
that, like
Oof.
that should tell you within itself. So I don't think he'll be on the team to starting the year. I don't think they'll get Damian Lillard. I don't think they'll get Bradley Beal. But do I see a scenario where the Warriors say, "Hey, mm, Draymond, we got some young pieces. We could possibly throw in a third team." Um, Again, I get to be talking out the whims here. And again, I don't think Rich Paul would want to do. would want to move Draymond, or Draymond. Let me not even say Rich Paul. I don't even think
Yeah.
Draymond wants to be moved out of Golden State. It would behoove him to try to stay, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I just think at this juncture, you the Warriors make the most sense basketball wise, right? Steph, Clay, Ben Simmons, that prolongs their championship window. He does exactly what Draymond does, but at a better and higher clip. And he's a better defender at this point in his career.
And
But
he's younger
at
than
this,
Draymond.
and he's way young. He's 25. So but ultimately, my gut feeling is he will go to Portland, but it won't be for Dame Lillard. I think it'll
CJ
be for
McCollum.
CJ McCollum. I think what will happen is it'll wind up being maybe a three-team trade where you CJ goes somewhere and another person goes to Philly, and then Ben Simmons goes to Portland. I think it may culminate to that, or a straight up trade between the two teams. But needless to say, whatever happens, there's two scenarios actually. There's two scenarios. If Ben Simmons isn't traded, the Sixers will struggle out the gate. Point
Right.
blank period.
I believe so. Yeah.
Because they don't have their backup point guard is what, Shake Milton, right?
Yeah. Let me check their
He's
roster. Hold on,
he,
because
he's a good player. Um, I do believe in that Sixers organization that they believe that he can, either him or Maxi could handle the ball, bring the ball up. But in pressurized moments, I don't know if I want those guys with the ball in their hands.
still got Seth Curry as a starting point guard.
They have Seth Curry, but he's more of a
He's
shooter.
more of a shooter.
Um, more of a off ball, around running around screens, catch and shoot type of player than bringing up the ball and setting up the offense. I think his talent speaks to more within the flow of the offense rather than actually initiating the offense. Um, so if Ben Simmons is still on the team and they haven't found a trade partner yet, they will struggle out the gate. They will be a under 500 team. That's just my opinion. Now, if they trade Ben Simmons and they do get some pieces, and they do get, let's just, if it's not a star, they get an all-star in return. I still think the Sixers are a formidable contending team in the East. And
Mhm.
if all is right in Philly, I believe that they'll be somewhere 45 to 49 wins.
Okay. Do you believe that if they don't get out of the second round, is Doc was being a hot seat?
Whoo, no, not yet,
Not yet.
not yet,
Still early.
because now you got to think his first year, right? His first year, he dealt with the whole Ben Simmons issue, not wanting to shoot the ball, this, that, and the third. The second year, now you have to deal with the ramifications of the trade from Ben Simmons and try to formulate this whole new chemistry with a new team. Or now you're dealing with the headache of Ben Simmons still being on the roster and don't want to play, and now you got to figure out how to build this roster and be confident going forward without
Hmm.
dealing with the drama. So I don't think this year he gets the much heat, but the following year,
The following year, is it if it's
that's a different
same status
conversation.
quo?
Yeah, different conversation.
My take is, I think either way they'll struggle out the gate. Um, I for some odd reason I don't have the trust in Doc Rivers that I had before. Um, Especially after last year.
It's that Clipper curse.
It, after, especially after last year, the way the season ended, it really rubbed me the wrong way how that team did not finish games in that series against the Hawks. And for them to have to be that defensively good and not show it during in that series, and now you're basically bringing the entire team back with the addition of Andre Drummond. I'm like, okay, so what's this actual ceiling?
Yeah,
I
Drummond.
mean,
Ah, man, I
okay, I
don't
do.
know.
Okay, so you still got Tyrese Maxey, um, Danny Green still on the roster, Tobias
Hmm.
Harris who's still getting paid as a
Danny
first team
Green.
first as a first team option, and meanwhile he's a third team option at best. Um, and then you still got the Ben Simmons cloud hanging over them. I I'm not as confident in the Sixers as everyone else seems to be. I mean, do I see as a playoff team? Yes. As coming out of the East, as a team coming out of the East, no, I don't see it because I just don't see where they're at mentally right now, and you got the whole Ben Simmons cloud. gonna be he's gonna be just being over them the whole training camp, regular season. If he doesn't get moved, he's gonna cause problems. They extended Joel Embiid, so they basically told us that Joel Embiid is the franchise,
Yep, they're all
and
in on
now
Joel.
they're all enjoying Joel Embiid, and dude has a he's had a litany of injuries. So
Yeah.
if they're banking on Joel Embiid staying healthy and being there consistently for the next 3 to 4 years, with that big contract, and if somehow they don't add on to the team or get some fresh new blood, I'm not. I don't see them competing in the East with the Nets and the Bucks. I see them as a middle of the pack, around 45 to 48 to 50 wins, and another second round exit.
Yikes. City of
Yeah.
brotherly love.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean,
You got
Ain't much love.
three.
trust the process. They've been doing it for the last 6 years.
Hold on. Check, check, check. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, audio was chopping up a little bit. Yeah. Pretty much what you guys said. I feel like the 76ers window is officially closed. I feel like
Oh,
if
officially
they
closed.
if
Wow.
they start off this season, like without Ben Simmons, it's gonna take a big. They're gonna take like a big hurting for that. Um, I'm gonna just give it like just straight up. I think you guys hit dead on the head with like the explanations and everything. Pretty much the obvious talks about if Ben Simmons is gonna remain the 76ers throughout the season, it's like a negative. That you're just dead wrong if you think that. Um, I'll probably give him about like maybe 40 to 45 wins. Like honestly, I don't
40.
see anybody.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
40
Yeah,
wins.
I
Low bar.
yeah, man. I don't. I feel like they just last year just took everything out of them. I mean, and I'm just thinking about if you move Ben Simmons out of that equation, like is is Embiid like going to remain healthy enough to carry them over the hump to like let's say about a 45 to 50 wins, And I'm looking at all these role players like will they be able to keep up, Like Seth Curry, we know that brother can shoot. Danny Red, yeah, I'm gonna call him Danny Red. Like, that brother has his,
Danny Red.
Jenny Red.
you know what I mean?
That
Like,
was a Laker thing, yeah.
Oh, that was a late. Oh, okay.
yeah, and then Andre Drummond, like, I understand they
Bomb.
picked him up to replace Luther Dwight. And I know Ernest and now, like when we signed him last season, we was sold up. We was like, yo, we got 80 number two. Like, yo, we was going like,
Yeah, well,
and,
we fools.
and we seen what he did. So I don't know, man. This team is just looking very dysfunctional right now, and just because of all that Ben Simmons talk and stuff like that. But I got him like 40 to 45 wins. Like Sixers fans, holla at me. But that's what I think, man.
Man. All
Wow.
right. Yeah.
All right. So the next team, this team was a pain in my behind last year during the playoffs, and had to watch them make a deep run. Yeah, and we need that payback ASAP. The Atlanta Hawks,
I,
41 and 31 last year, made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on how they do this year?
for one thing, last season they exceeded expectations. I feel like anybody can say that.
Oh,
Nobody's
yeah.
seen them going to 6 games in the Eastern Conference. And honestly, me, I just had that theory like, yo, imagine if the Hawks beat the Bucks. Like, imagine the Hawks make the finals. Like, whoa, you know. But they definitely exceeded expectations. I definitely see them. They won 41 games last year. Definitely can see them winning by like, let's say about like maybe 47 games this season. I know they re-signed John Collins back. He was a good
Yep.
look.
They gave
Mm-hmm.
Capella
Trey
an
Young is
extension.
Trey Young is
Capella,
Trey Young
yeah.
is Pelicans.
They gave
Capella's still there. I
they gave
think
Trae Young the
Trae Young and
max.
Capella finding their chemistry. Yeah. Um, they. I know. I feel like they. And also, who can we forget about? Cam Reddish. Cam
Yeah,
Reddish. He
they're
didn't
trying to
really
put
get much PT.
Cam Reddish in the
Yeah,
trading
he didn't
block.
get really get much PT in the playoffs, but I feel like he was kind of the guy to put him over the hump. So I'm just getting clear cut. Like, I see him giving out 47 wins this season.
Okay.
All right.
For me, I think the Hawks. Honestly, I think the Hawks do no better than what they did last year. Meaning
Mm.
Hmm.
they're up there. They do 41 to 45 wins. Um, Something about them just doesn't like. There's something missing with them. I don't know if it's, and I gotta watch them a little bit more. To be honest, I think Trae Young getting that success in the playoffs will do well for him and his confidence in his game. Um, I just think the tandem of Collins and Capella may have to be looked at down the line. I don't know if that will
Hmm.
translate to something of what a championship could be. Um, I do think the Hawks are a lock for the playoffs, though. Like they're a legit playoff team. Do I pencil them in as going to the Eastern Conference Finals? Hell no. Sorry. That's just I don't think that's just what happened last year was an anomaly. Um, so to me, I think the Hawks do no better than what they did this past year at 41 wins. I do think they'll probably do like maybe 40, maybe 45 to Marty's point, like from 41 to 45. In between that, um, first round, second round exit, in my opinion.
Okay. For me, I got them penciling like around 46 to 48. I
Damn.
think I think because they're gonna carry the momentum from last year to this year, and also remember last year Nate McMillan was replaced mid-season.
But here's the thing, though. Like, and the reason why I say that is because I'm just looking at other teams in the East who've gotten better.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Hawks didn't really get better. They just got better experience. They didn't add anything that's
That's
going
true.
to bring them over the top. They just brought back the same players and banking on the fact that okay, Nate McMillan is a great, great, great coach. He does not get enough credit for the type of coach that he is. And then I just think they don't have enough like
Enough
talent
size.
around, yeah, upside like around them because Kevin Herter, and Bogey, like do they do enough to take the attention off of Trae Young? Does John Collins do enough? Like teams are going to start loading up on Trae Young on offense, like on defense. Can other players step up? And don't get me wrong, we saw it in John Collins against the Sixers, and even in series against the Bucks, right? But can
Mhm.
he do that for a full season?
For
I
82
don't know.
games, we're not sure. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. I have
I
to see
just
it to believe it.
I think I just see I don't see him being a finals contender. Middle of the pack of the East, yes. Um, the film is out on how to defend Trey Young, and
Yeah.
the same NBA shooting rule that applies to James Harden is gonna apply to Trey Young. So he's not
Hmm.
gonna get those ticky tack. Um,
All that
of
foul
course,
hunting.
all that fouling. No, it's not gonna happen. He's not gonna. It's gonna take away points from him.
Hmm.
Um, the way, and also they also drafted Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper. Are they gonna be in a rotation to help out with Trey Young? I don't know.
But
So
again, you're banking on young
you're
guys to
making on
kind of
young
like.
guys.
This is why I
Yeah.
say they'll do more of the same what they did last year, but they won't get as far as they did in the playoffs as what they did last year.
So I got them penciling like around 46 to 48 wins, uh, around a 4 or 5 seed in the East. Can they win a playoff round? We'll see, depending on who they match up against.
We'll see.
Um, and I think that's my ceiling with them. All right, so the next team up, as you know, they can see my background.
Mm.
Um,
We'll let you take this one
this
first.
team came out of nowhere. All right, so this team came out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, won 41 games and shocked everyone by getting the home court in the number 4 seed. And then they unceremoniously bowed out in the first round of 5 games by the Hawks. Having said that, they upgraded at point guard big time, which was desperately needed. And I think they also upgraded at the three. The additions of Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. They also kept the rest of the bench. They re-signed D Rose, Alec Burks, Taj Gibson, Ernest Noel. They also extended Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. They're still there, along with Mitchell Robinson, who's expected to come back. So my prediction for this team, um, I expect them to make the playoffs. I got them penciling in around 46 to 50 wins. I just think the additions of
Oh,
no, hear me out.
50.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear
Go
me
ahead,
out.
go
Oh,
ahead, go ahead. The floor is
yeah.
That's
open.
that's
Because
look,
I got some things to talk
that's their
about with the Knicks.
ceiling.
But go ahead.
Here's the ceiling though. But here's the thing though. They won 41 games with Alpha Payton and Reggie Bullock as their 1 and 3. Now you telling me that they get Kemba Walker, who got him out not through the trade, but as a buyout from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He averaged 19 points, and then Evan Fournier, who also played with Kemba in Boston, who gave you 17. So you add those two, it opens up the floor for Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. And also you bring in the bench, you got Derrick Rose, Manuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, Burks, Notice Noel. You add that all in one, and then you get a second year under Tom Thibodeau, who you know is not who you know is going to prioritize winning over everything. So now the way I look at the roster, the way it shapes up, I could see him winning between 46 to 50 games, being in the top 5 in the East. As far as making the playoffs, they should make the playoffs. Winning the playoff series, we'll see. I like it to win the playoff series, and then maybe get at least a fair shot in the second round, depending on who they match up with.
The Knicks win a playoff series. The city of New York is gonna explode.
Oh no, I was there after game 2 when they won that game against the Hawks, and Seventh Avenue was literally flooded. They were stopping semi trucks along Seventh Avenue. It was literally a parade. It was literally a parade.
Yo,
So
the city of New York is gonna blow up, man.
yo, but we'll see how this team meshes. It's another season under Tibbs, so you know he's gonna prioritize defense, and we'll see how Julius Randle does under the second year under Tibbs, and how the team meshes and really takes control of what they have here.
Okay. So the New York Knicks. Uh I got them penciled in. So they were 41. They won 41 games last year, right?
Hmm.
I got them penciled in around 45 to 48 wins. Um, I just don't see 50. The East has gotten way better this year coming up. Um, my issue with the Knicks, right? You gotten better. They got better scoring, right? We're adding Kimber, Evan Fournier. I think that two-man game is going to be really good between them two. Also to help Julius Randle kind of get more one-on-one coverage. And he's grown to be a better one-on-one player. He has to stop using the left hand though, because everyone knows where he's going.
Oh no, he's
Anywho,
working on his right hand. He's been working
we'll see.
on his right hand.
We'll
Him and
see, because
RJ.
he didn't do that
But
shit with the Lakers. We'll see.
we'll hey, look, we saw with the Hawks how they did. They
I
basically
feel like
just
Julius is trying to
shaded him to the left. Said we can go right, and that was their game plan.
Right. I just think here's the thing that makes me like question the Knicks, right? One is health, because Tom Thibodeau is going to run into the ground. Can Kimball Walker sustain that? I don't think he can. I don't think he will. Um, Evan Fournier is pretty durable, but he does have Nicky Knack injuries here and there throughout his career, that he sits out. Is Mitchell Robinson going to stay healthy for a full year? Finally, we don't know. Um,
And he's up for a contract.
yes, yeah, exactly. It's a contract year for him. Um, so those are the things I'm questioning. Another thing is, offensively, yes, you gotten better. Defensively, you got worse. Only because
Yep.
Kimball Walker and Evan Fournier are not great defenders. They're pretty bad on defense, and
They're
they'll get
cold.
picked on by opposing teams. So will the others commit when Kimball Walker is getting picked on in pick and rolls? Um, is I'm just concerned how that will work, because the thing with Reggie Bullock was still a good on ball defender. He just wasn't a great offensive player. He was just a spot up shooter. But I don't know if Kimball Walker helps you with that. Now, offensively, absolutely. But I have to see how this is going to work, only because Julius Randle is the one who initiates the offense pretty much all the time. If it's not Julius Randle, it's probably RJ Barrett or Derrick Rose. That's usually from what I've, and I could be wrong, correct me if I am. But those three players were the ones who initiate the offense. I'm just concerned, how is Julius Randle going to be able to play off the ball? Because he he his game is predicated on one-on-one, pound and ground, get to the cup. Um, he's not a create your 3-point shot, right? He's more of a catch and shoot off the three. I just have to see how the offense looks and how it's going to work, because again, Kemba Walker is a very ball dominant guard, and his first option is to score. That's his mentality, is to score. It is not to get others involved, and it's not a bad thing to so to say, but it's just that's just how his game is predicated on. It's just scoring the ball. Again, he is another version of Kyrie Irving if you really look at their games. Um, I have to see it. I have to see it. Again, I have them penciled in 45 wins, first round. They're a playoff lock, absolutely. But I got to see it first. I still have reservations on the Knicks and how that formulates, because I think their defense takes a hit.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
I would, yeah, 45 wins as well for me. Um, First round for me, playoff lot as well. I agree. Um, I'll say the thing about like with the addition of like Kemba Walker, he is an upgrade on offense along with Evan Fournier. But as far as like Kemba Walker, especially like when he's with the Celtics, he can be a bit inconsistent at times too. You know, he can have those 4 for 15 nights. You know what I mean? And especially with you got Julius Randle, who's very ball dominant, who's constantly trying to like push the pace. You know, I feel like seeing Julius come from the Lakers and kind of like elevate himself. I still feel like he needs to just slow down just a tad bit. You know, just let the game come to him. And I remember I was saying that to myself a lot in the series against the Hawks. I'm like, bro, just chill. Like you're just taking too many shots right now. Like just
Yeah.
play within the offense, and your shots is gonna come. So there was a time where he just kept missing. And I'm just saying, just thinking to myself that if there was him and Kemba on the court and they're both having a bad shooting night, that's kind of, you know, they're kind of in trouble. But the good thing about the Knicks is that their role players definitely came through for them last
Hmm.
year, and
Yeah.
especially their defense came through for them last year. But they took a hit on that. And as far as Mitch Robinson, like I said earlier while you was talking, I did forget about him, but Mitch Robinson is a stud.
Hmm.
And he's in the contract year, so I feel like anytime somebody's in the contract year, that usually is kind of like the pat on the back, like yo, wake up, it's time to get this money. So
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna try his best. Like health, you really can't determine that. Like you can't determine if like if my ankle tweaks or if my arm don't work or whatever. You can't play that. But it all comes down to like working with your trade and stuff like that. But I've I really feel like the Knicks are gonna do the same thing last season. Last year they definitely exceeded a lot of expectations. I don't think anybody had them what they was the fourth seed last year.
Fourth seed,
I
home
don't think
court
Fourth
advantage.
seed home
yeah,
court.
home court advantage is crazy. I don't think anybody
Yeah.
had them. I don't think anybody knew that Julius Randle was going to play that well, and
Right.
also winning.
And
Go
then
ahead.
also to cut you off, I think too, now teams are not going to take the Knicks lightly. Like
Right.
they
No, you
know
can't.
now going
You
into the
can't.
Garden or whenever the Knicks come to town, they're going to make you play hard.
They're gonna
You
make you
have to
play
take
hard.
them
You gotta play
seriously.
defense.
Right. So that's why I think a lot of teams were caught by surprise last year for the Knicks. And this upcoming year, now teams are like, okay, now we got to take you seriously.
Yep.
I feel like that may hurt them a little bit. Again, that's just me.
But
I think.
I do like their like I said, they lost defense. But I do like their approach to the game as far as like the defensive mentality. You know, the low scoring games kind of reminds me of like the Grizzlies back in like the early 2010s, or like
Yeah, the
just
grit
how
and
NBA
grind.
The grit and grinds.
right, just how NBA teams was playing like before all this 3 point shooting revolution happened. You know, just how slow the pace is, how they bang. You know what I mean? So but yeah, I believe the Knicks is 45 games for me, about 45, 48 games. My question is just obviously health and just who what Kevin Walker we getting, you know, because he could just be a bit inconsistent at times. So
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. I like the bench is gonna be the same, so it should be more lethal than as you showed last year. Also they added more. They added the draft picks of Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride. So hopefully, if they get into that rotation, they should at least stem the tide for Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose if either one goes down. So at least they can at least stem the tide for a little bit, and then they can come back healthy. So we'll see how this team meshes. It's gonna be real interesting to see how this team meshes under the second year, and I can they're definitely a playoff team. So that's more than that. The next team, the Miami Heat, they
Oof.
added a bunch of big pieces: the Kyle Lowry's, the PJ Tuckers. They re-signed Jimmy Butler to that big fat contract. Um, Finished with 40 wins last year. Were unceremoniously swept by the Bucks, and they made a big splash to at least get back into the championship contention in the East. Um, they're this is the typical Pat Riley of the Miami Heat. It's basically they find ways to get these big free agents out of nowhere, and the amount of cap space that they don't have, they make it work for some odd reason. It happens every time. Remember the LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh, how they got together, and now this with the Kyle Lowry's and the Jimmy Butlers and the PJ Tuckers. So your thoughts on the Heat?
sheesh. I would say middle of the pack as far as the Eastern Conference go. Um, my concern as I'm looking at their roster is when Bam sits, who's coming in the game to play center for them? Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very thin at center.
they definitely could find somebody between now and then. Obviously, as most teams does. Dwayne Dedman, all right, you know, but Dwayne Dedman, he's actually pretty solid, you know. But I feel like somebody you can actually really rely on to come off your bench behind Bam. That's just my only question. Um, and also, what's the update on Victor Oladipo's injury? I feel like with the Miami, I feel like the past couple years when the Lakers faced them in the bubble, it was like a lot of guard and wing action in with Bam Adebayo. Um, so they picked up PJ Tucker, former champ. They picked up Markeith Morris, former champ. They picked up a lot of 3 and D guys, and they also they lost Trevor Ariza, but still, I feel like they're kind of with this whole 3 and D cycle. Pretty much, they swapped out Andre Iguodala and Trevor Ariza for Markeith and PJ Tucker. You know, this whole 3D formula thing that they got going here. Kyle Lowry was a dope pickup. Um, I'm just interested to see how that works. Uh, And I know did they sign? They signed Duncan Robinson to like a
Yeah,
massive
5 years,
contract.
90 mil.
Yeah,
So
Max.
that boy got to show up.
He got to
Yeah.
that
show up.
boy,
He got to
that
show up.
that boy got to show up because if I feel like that year, right? That year when they went to the bubble and they went to the finals, nobody was expecting the Miami Heat to be in the finals, and I think nobody was expecting them to get to the finals again. So I feel like it's kind of this year is kind of like a low key of redemption year. Oh, you forgot about us? All right, bet. But also last year, a lot of the players was facing a lot of injuries. Like Jimmy Butler was in and out of the lineup because of COVID. Like the main thing about this whole just the success of these teams is this whole COVID thing. That's the number one thing as well too. And I know a lot of cities, a lot of states is kind of mandating this vaccine as well too. So
Yeah,
Miami's a hot spot. Florida's just a hot
it's
spot
a
in general.
hotbed.
So
Yeah.
that can also take a toll into things. But that's just for any team. But as far as the Heat, my main concern is just when Bam sits, who's coming off this bench, and Bam shall not know Udonis Haslem. Like I get it, the re-upping him for like motivational speaking purposes and like locker room team chemistry and stuff like that. But I feel like I want the Heat to be on a revenge tour this year, man. So, like I said, middle of the pack, a dark horse. Everybody's kind of forgotten about them, forgot about their, we all remember their run in the bubble, but we kind of forgot about them last year due to the Bucks. The Bucks kicked them out the playoffs. So, this is like a redemption year for them. And also kind of like a nothing to lose year for them either. I would say. I'd say probably like sheesh, about like 47 wins. If if they can get it together. This is the
Okay.
redemption year for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I'm a little higher on the Heat than everyone else is. I feel in Miami, um, they were victims of short off season bubble, you know, um, just COVID injury. Like they were just ridiculed all year. They weren't able to get their rhythm, and they still were able to hobble into the playoffs. I think their team is way better this coming year. With obviously with the addition of Kyle Lowry, you know, um, adding PJ Tucker um, does help. Adding Mark, I got a soft spot for Markeith, right? Laker faithful. I think adding Markeith helps. I just think with them, there's going to be just a tough team to deal with that you don't want to play. Um, they're gonna make teams work very hard on offense. They're gonna play a lot of bully balls. Gonna be a lot of fouls being called. The game's gonna be long. There's not gonna be this fast pace that will slow you down. Because that's just
Games.
the culture that they have, and that's the game that they're gonna play based on the plays that they added.
Mhm.
Armando, you made a good point though. I'm very concerned about their center position. Now, if Tyler Hero's on the block, they can get one, right?
Yeah.
Depending
Mhm.
on who that may be, right? So, but I got the Heat penciled in roughly 48 to 50 wins, because I just think they care about the regular season more than anyone else in the East. Um, they're going to want to send a message and a statement because obviously what
Yep.
happened last year. Um, and they're my dark horse to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mhm.
And to me, something tells me I think they have the formula in a sense if they can make it work to challenge the Nets because I think the Nets just they can get physical with them and
Mhm.
when it all comes down to it, their closing lineup is going to be Bam at the 5, right? Your 4 will probably be PJ Tucker. Your 3, Jimmy Butler. Your 2 will be either Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero, and your 1 will be Kyle Lowry. It's not a bad 5. Um, I
What's up
just
with
think,
Do?
Victor
and
Oladipo. They're saying that
he's
they're
he's
saying
going to
that
be out.
Christmas.
Yeah, he's going to
They're
be out.
targeting Christmas until they're targeting Christmas to for them to come back.
And
They're
if he
also
can,
deep. They're a deep team.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And if he can get it together, he's healthy. He comes back and he can get it together. Man, they're gonna have some good offensive firepower, and defensively
And defensive.
they're gonna
Yep.
be a headache to deal with defensively. So I'm a little higher on them. I think the Heat actually, I think penciled in for me top 14 in the East.
Hmm. Okay, so COVID and short off season basically just wrecked the Heat season for the
Yeah,
playoffs
yeah,
because they had no time to rest and everyone was injured or had dealt with COVID and there was this very uneven season for the Heat.
yeah.
That being said, they're one of those teams that could wreak havoc and just mess up just mess up plans for the top teams in the East
Yeah, they
because
can.
they're one of those teams that they're as I mentioned they're physical, they got the defensive minded, the toughness, and they got that DNA.
Hmm.
And you're gonna be in the if you play in the Miami Heat, you're gonna be in those 86 to 83 games, 96, 95 games,
Doing the
ugly,
dog fight.
slow pace,
Yeah,
dog
you're not
fight,
putting up
physical.
115,
You're not putting up
110
115,
points.
120.
No, no, not against them.
And I could and it's painful as for me to say it. I could see them being a real dark horse in the East to contend for one of those top for a deep run in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because I know they don't have the front court depth and at the center and power forward, but you got the Jimmy factor, you got the Jimmy Butler factor, and you added Kyle Lowry, two players who can really give you points in the
Dogs.
clutch,
Yeah,
and they're dogs.
Dogs.
yeah.
And also you got PJ Tucker who can take on the best player on the opposing team.
Right. So Jimmy
So
Butler doesn't have that assignment anymore.
that's right. That it alleviates him for on defense. Now he can concentrate on getting buckets down the stretch, low on Kyle
Yep.
Lowry. And Kyle Lowry, he can defend. He's also a
He
bulldog.
did a really
So
good
now
job
you
of
got
that. Cool.
Yep. So
so now you got those two. Also, you got sharpshooters with Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. I mean, if you're not careful in the playoff series with against this team,
yeah, you can get got.
you can get got real easy. So I see him winning around 47 to 50, 51 wins. They're top six easy in the playoffs. Um, where they finish in the playoffs, it can. I'll put it like this: it can go from a first round exit to NBA Finals appearance. That's how good they can really be. So depending on health and COVID this season
Yep.
and where they finish in the standings, they can finish either between a first round exit or NBA Finals appearance. That's how
Hmm.
really deep and the question marks. It could get real interesting because if by trade deadline, if they need some front court help or need if they need some
They have
a
the
two
assets to
guard,
do it.
they have they have the pieces to get a big piece. So you
Like
never know what
who's to say? Who's to say?
CJ McCullough, CJ McCullough.
Not even. I'm just saying. Like okay, like let's just say they trade for their need, which is a big man, right?
Hmm.
I
Who's out
mean,
there?
Cat.
Carl. I was just about to say it, Carl Eddie Towns. I mean,
I'm just and again that's a stretch, but like
yes, yeah,
it's not out the realm, but they can possibly try to get a big or
a power forward, a backup power
Yeah.
forward.
hell they could probably get Kevin Love.
Hey, he's still in Cleveland,
Hmm.
Again, you
so
just don't get people get too harped on like production and stuff like that. I just think you got to get what you can get and what can fit,
yeah,
and
get it right now
they
before.
have pieces that they can go get. Let's just say that. Just put it that
Yeah,
way.
like if it's a chance to get that type of player right now, you go get it
Yep, and they have it.
because off season you never know what other teams might be building.
Right.
All right, so let's move on. Let's move forward. The next team up, the Boston Celtics. Team was in the play-in tournament last year, and then they got bowed out in the first round by the Nets. They lost Kemba. They lost Evan Fournier. Got a new coach, Emi Udoka. Um, I don't know about this team.
They got
I,
listen.
I
They got the Mr. Turn Down, the $84 million man.
oh,
You know what I'm
Dennis
saying?
Schroeder.
They got
Oof.
Dennis Schroeder, and you know what? Listen,
They got
Dennis
Al
Schroeder.
Horford.
Let me put it on record. Dennis Schroeder was good. Can we stop the whole Dennis Schroeder was such a bad player for the Lakers? Like he was a good player for us, and he did good things. Yes, did he stress us the f- out? Absolutely. But what player
Yeah,
doesn't do that?
right.
Dennis Schroeder was good for what he was
He
supposed to
was.
be. Again, when you have the pressurize of Laker Nation and the allure and all this stuff, you got LeBron and AD. A lot of other things happen with that situation, right? And Dennis Schroeder, I would say, didn't help, right? Like make things better. But for what he did, and again, you can't excuse going 0 for 9, 0 points in the playoffs. Like that,
No, that's just
that
inexcusable.
that
No,
is inexcusable. But at the
no.
same time, if you look at the totality of the body of work that he did for the full year for the Lakers, he was good.
It was good. It was okay. Now, having said that, how does he fit with the Celtic roster with Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum?
He's coming off the bench.
Who's their starter
Marcus Smart.
at
Really?
point?
Oh,
Oof. Okay.
really?
Okay. They still got. They also got Josh Richardson. Um, and his Kenner. That's their center. Um, Carson Edwards, Chris Dunn,
Yikes.
Aaron Neesmith, the second year player, Peyton Pritchard. I could see him being a starter.
Didn't they
Oh,
trade
also,
Chris Dunn?
I think I'm seeing that he's still on the roster.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
seeing. Yeah,
also,
seeing
oh,
on
also
Russell.
they also extended giving the contract extension to Robert Williams third.
Stud. He's a stud.
Yeah, he
That
is
dude's a
good.
Okay,
stud.
yeah.
I like Robert Williams. He's
Stud.
good.
He's a
He's good.
stud. Yeah, man.
So where do you see this team finishing?
I got the Celtics as a bubble team.
Playing tournament?
Yep. They're just on the cusp of missing the playoffs or making it in. So in college terms, fans, if you don't know what the bubble is, it's like, you know,
The NCAA
um,
tournament is like you got to win games. You're
right.
in that group of teams that is trying to get as many wins as possible because you don't have enough in your resume.
Right. So I think the Celtics are going to be a playing team, preferably a seventh or eighth seed. I don't think they'll be ninth or tenth. I don't think they'll be that bad. But I do think they'll be a seventh or eighth seed in the playing game and a first round exit, and then we can put the clock on for Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum to the Lakers. Oh
Whoa,
Lord.
whoa, whoa, I didn't say that. I didn't
I
say that.
mean, it
I didn't
was.
say that. I can see it though, but I'm not saying that. But I think there's something about this. It's the
I was just
Celtics.
want. I
I
just
would
need to
say
know
this.
what the direction is. What's the direction?
I say this. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown give me Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum vibes. Meaning
Mm,
the tandem is great, but they don't equal the wins as well. They don't result into contendingship. They don't result into championship uh, level basketball together. I think you're either gonna have to build around one of them. My
so you're
estimation, you
saying
build you build around Jason Tatum.
Around Tatum. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I just they both kind of do the same thing. Uh, Jalen Brown's a better defender though than Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's a better scorer
Right.
than Jalen Brown, but their games kind of mirror each other in in a sense. I don't know. Marcus Smart, even though because they did extend him, I
yeah,
believe.
they did. Yeah, they did.
Um, I don't know if he's going to be there long term. And then Dennis Schroeder, right? Here's the thing with Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder is now, and I have the same theory with the Wizards when we get there. Dennis Schroeder is now on a contract year again.
Yep.
He's going to try to prove himself, and he's going to try to make up the money that he lost. He is going to go nut, meaning there's going to be plays.
He's gonna get his 20 plus points
He's gonna do exactly. He's gonna try to reset the market for himself, and especially when you have a new coach. I'm
Hmm.
not listening to you. I'm doing what I want to do. So I don't know how well that will go together. How happy he will be coming off the bench because again, from what I've read and what I heard, like he's coming off the bench. Marcus
Hmm.
Smart's going to be the starter. So
Interesting.
I don't know how that's going to formulate. I don't know how that's going to go. If he thinks he should be a starter or star or treated as one, how would Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown like kind of fill it out? Plus, if you look at their front court, you have Robert Williams, right? But then like Ennis Cantor, he's a great rebounder, but and he's good offensively, but defensively he's terrible. So I I don't know, man. The Celtics to me are just going to be a playing team that'll probably get bumped in the first round, and that'll be that.
How many wins?
I would say between their window is 39 wins to 44.
Okay.
Hmm. Um, jeez, this team. I say it's looking like about 40 to 42 wins. Probably like maybe 6 or 7 seed. I could kind of see them like cracking in, sneaking into the, like trying to avoid the play-in, right? Um, just what pretty much what Ernest said about Dennis Schroeder coming in trying to be a hothead, not listening to what the coach said. Because if you think about it, at the start of last season, Dennis Schroeder, I think somebody asked him like, "Yo, what do you think about coming off the bench?" And pretty much he had that same answer that Melo gave when Melo went to Oklahoma City. He was like, "Nah, I ain't coming off the bench. Like
Hmm.
I was second in six man of the year. I'm starting." And us, Laker Nation, we was looking at him like, "Bro, like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, we just came up winning the championship, and you're
Hmm.
talking about you want to start on our team." So like that's why we all looked at you like that way when you said that Marcus Smart was going to start. It was like, whoa, But I definitely do see Dennis Schroeder trying to come out there gunning. Um, Marcus Smart, you're gonna get what Marcus Smart gives you, and that's not I'm not saying that as a bad thing. He's gonna play incredible. I think we just lost Ernest.
Yeah,
Um,
he's gonna get back
he's
in.
gonna play incredible defense, and he's gonna be that solid dog role player that he's been for his career. Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Now, I know he compared Jaylen and Tatum to CJ and Dame. The thing is that I I'm not over that pairing as like I'm over with Dame and CJ. I feel like enough is enough with Dame and CJ.
Yeah, they ran
I
their
feel like
course in Portland.
they ran their course the same way with John Wall
And
and Bradley
John,
Beal.
yeah.
They ran their course. But this, I feel like if Jaylen Brown didn't get hurt towards the end of the season, I felt like the Boston Celtics they could have done some things in the playoffs. Not saying win the championship, but they
Hmm.
could have like moved the needle a little bit. With the Nets in that first series against the Celtics, they was locked in on Tatum. Tatum was out
Yeah.
there scoring 40, 50 because they was locked in. Now, if you got somebody like Jaylen Brown who can share the ball, score, and defend, he definitely helps that team out a lot. You know. Now, as far as what he mentioned about cancer, cancer's cancer. We've known that.
Hmm.
Straight rebounder, straight offensive player. They have Al Horford as well too. Um, that's kind of like a welcome back. But I mean, we see what Horford can do. But at this stage of his career, like I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, he's starting, but I wouldn't be surprised if Robin Williams gets the nod too. Like I said, he's a stud. He kind of reminds me of like Nick Claxton, and Jared
Yeah.
Allen, somebody who has so much potential. Um, but I'll say probably yeah, 6 to 7 seed, probably like maybe 40, about like 42, 43 wins.
How about that?
Um,
It's okay.
about 40 to 43 wins. It's just like what you guys said earlier. This team is kind of like all over the place. Like, are you guys like, you know, like just shutting it down, like just trying to build around one person, or you guys are trying to go for it all? Because right now, this team is what a 5, 6, 7 team is, kind of in limbo, and that's what the Celtics is in right now. Um, But yeah, that's my take on the Celtics. So
My take is they're a playing team. Got them. I got them around between 43 and 46. Um, I think Tatum and Brown gonna just do enough just to get them in the playing tournament and just to get them at least to one at least a separate seed. I think after that, I'm not sure if they can at least survive, get at least one playoff game in a series. Um, they're gonna have their ups and downs. I just think the roster is just like it's just it's I think it's incomplete. I know they got the Peyton Pritchard, um, Al Horford. I don't know Ennis Canner. He's gonna be a shooting at center. I think they're gonna have to start Robert Williams. He's their starter, so he's a stud there. Marcus Smart as a point guard, I'm not sure. I see him more as a two, and then somehow you're gonna have to either get it's to see right. This the team is incomplete for me. Um, besides Tatum, Smart, and Jalen Brown, who else is going to fill that void to help the Celtics win games? I don't know.
Yep.
And plus, with the new coach, the new coaching system, the new team philosophy, it's going to be a struggle for them just to at least get out the gate. And I just see them barely surviving just to get into the playing tournament and maybe get a playing tournament win. As far as that, they're easy first round exit.
I agree.
All right. All right. So okay. So we're approaching hour and 30 minutes. So how about we just do like a for the rest of the Eastern Conference, we just do like a rapid fire.
Okay.
So we can do that on the so we just get this recording under 2 hours, and then
mhm.
the next recording, let's do the Western Conference, and
I
then
agree.
we'll take it from there. Okay.
Yep.
So the
Cool.
next team up, the Washington Wizards.
Let me
Go
get to the
ahead.
They made it.
Wizards.
All right. So you go. So you go, Ernest. You go. You go.
Go
You
ahead.
go.
Washington is going to be good because they have added depth. But the problem I have with that depth is that Mr. Tim Bontemps of ESPN, it's the same guy that said when the Lakers had all Kuzma and they had
KCP.
Montrez, KCP, LeBron, AD, all those guys, the Lakers are not going to be any good. Then the same bench unit gets traded for Russ and goes to the Washington Wizards. Now all of a sudden they're a deep team, they'll be great. The issue with the Wizards, I think the
Defense.
Wizards, there you go, is going to be
Defense.
defense.
They're gonna allow 120
They're
points per game. Okay.
they're and this is no disrespect to Bradley Beal because I love his game and I think um he's one of the rare ones that just thugs it out, right? And you got to respect the grind. But at sometimes the grind doesn't always work. I'm not forced. I'm not here to preach him to request a trade or to go somewhere. I'm not saying all that. Well, all I'm saying is that you now have a situation where Kyle Kuzma is trying to prove himself. You're gonna have another situation where now defensively that's gonna be non-existent because all the guys that they added are strictly offensive minded players.
Don't
Bradley
forget Spencer
Beal,
Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie's doesn't play. He's not good defensively. I don't know
I know.
where he's not good defensively. We all know Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is subpar. I wouldn't say he's bad because he actually played great defense when we saw strides of
Yeah.
him playing great
Yep.
defense on the
Hmm.
Lakers. I'm not going
Yeah.
to say he's a terrible defender. I think that's overstating because people just don't like Kuzma for some weird reason. I don't know why, but whatever. But I think the issue with Kuz is going to be he's going to be on a prove it type of thing where he got all the slander in LA, and now even just by his tweets and stuff he's been saying, like one question, he did like a Q&A on Twitter or something like that, and he was just like, one question to him, and I could be paraphrasing, I could be wrong, was, what are you going to do this year differently than you did last year? And his answer was more than what people saw him do, because he had to play a role, right? Like when you have LeBron James and AD, you're not the guy. Sorry, you have to play a certain role, and that's just what it is. So to me, it seems as if he's coming with the mindset going to Washington as, oh, it's me and Beal. Like, we're here. We're the top two best players on the team, and I'm going to go crazy. So I don't know if that's going to go be a good thing or a bad thing, because I don't know. I just think, and we all know Montrezl Harrell is not good defensively. He's okay. The
Good energy
only,
guy.
yeah, he's a great energy guy.
Really good.
Right, and then you're gonna have KCP who's going to start, who will probably be their best defender on that roster. So I got the Wizards as a playing team again. Um, do I think they'll make it in the playoffs? Possibly, but if you look at what happened last year, Russ was really the sole reason why they were able to get into the play-in, because he went on a freaking super tear, averaging a triple double. This is while Bradley Beal was in and out the lineup because of injury.
It was injury, and COVID also ravaged the whole team.
Right, yeah, they were out for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that.
2, 3 COVID, and if you remember, January and February they started like they were like 13-25 or some ridiculous record.
Exactly.
So
you
they had
don't
to like
have
really come back.
Right, and so you don't have a player like that on your roster, right?
Wow.
Who can just take a bunch of just guys and say, F it, I'm gonna do it all myself, and then I'll figure it out as I go along. You're not gonna have those guys who can think the game like that, because their mindset is to, I'm gonna score the ball, and that's just what I'm gonna put up 25 to 30 points, and that's just what it is. So I defensively, they're gonna be one of the worst teams in the league, but offensively, they'll be really fun to watch because they're gonna take a bunch of shots and they'll be up and down pace. I just think that the Wizards will playing team. Let's just leave it at that. They'll be a playing team.
How many wins?
35 to 40. That's their ceiling.
Yeah.
Same here. 35 to
If
40
that.
wins well. Aim seed, no doubt. I say the person that we low-key did not mention, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Mm-hmm.
We got
I like Dinwiddie, but
that ACL injury, like,
I know.
That ACL injury is tricky.
Who's their backup point guard?
Hold on.
Is
they got Raul. Yeah, Raul Neto.
They're gonna get their bench is gonna get killed.
Yeah. They also got Aaron Holiday.
Yeah.
I like Aaron Holiday.
We're missing a young, pretty good, solid player in Rui Hachimura, you know. So I feel like this team,
Rui, I think is going to, out of fault, going to put up worse numbers because Kuzma's on the team.
Because he started. Because Kuzma's going to start.
That's a good question. I think Kuzma stunts Rui's growth. So
they need Rui to play.
It's a logjam at that position, honestly.
Yeah, and also Thomas Bryant's coming back from the injury.
Yep.
See, so you got a logjam at the forward.
That's what I'm saying.
With Montrezl Harrell,
right,
and Kyle Kuzma.
So this team just has just young players and gunners. That's what I like. Just the sense of direction. We know they're not going to make it far, but they have a good formula quality of all right players that can get the job done. You know, like Bradley Beal being the head of the table, and then everybody else just kind of falls in line with Kyle Kuzma, Trez, Rui, KCP. Everybody kind of just falls in line with this team. So no expectations. But they're better than pretty much. They're worse than all the other teams that we mentioned earlier, and they're better than all the other teams your Charlotte Hornets, your Toronto Raptors. All that.
Are they better than Charlotte?
Charlotte, yo, Charlotte.
No.
I don't know, man,
Charlotte,
but
listen, Charlotte's one of my league pass
Yeah,
teams to watch,
we'll get to
man.
them, but
We'll
I don't
get to
know. I
them.
think
We'll get to
all
them.
right.
I don't know if
But
they honestly. All right, honestly, there's two teams. I don't think they're better than in the East, and I'm gonna say they're not better than. Well, it's three teams, in my opinion. They're not better than, and we didn't get to them yet. They're not better than Chicago. They're not better than
Mm,
Indiana, and they're not better than
mm.
they're not better than Charlotte, or at least that like same tier. I just think
Mhm.
Charlotte may be better built as far as their roster. That will lead to more
they
success
have
than
a sense.
Washington.
They have a direction, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Also, don't forget they got a new coach, Wizards. They got a new
yeah. They
coach,
do, they
Wes
do.
Unseld Jr.
West Unseld.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So
So
yeah,
for me,
since the go ahead. Yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
so
I was
oh,
go ahead.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So for me, I got them at 41 wins. I just think that
Oh,
I know. It was tough for me to choose because
I don't see it, man.
the way the way they can score the ball is they're gonna average 120 points just by the roster alone.
Yeah, and
But
they're gonna
They're
give up
gonna.
they're
160.
gonna give up almost 130 points. So so and plus they got log jams at forward and at guard. So who's your rotation players? Who's your starting five? Who's your bench players? Who's your 10 team with 10-man rotation? And it's I think it's gonna be a log jam. Um, I they're gonna be really good offensively, but defensively they're gonna be a nightmare. It's
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna
oof.
defensively.
I like the Spencer Dinwiddie signing.
Nah, I
I
like
think
it in what he's signing too.
to me he need to get out of the Brooklyn situation. It's gonna free him up to be his own team with Bradley Beal,
Mhm.
and on top of that, isn't Bradley don't is this his last year in his contract, Bradley Beal?
No, because this summer coming up would be the summer of Zach
Or the
Levine. It's the following year.
following year? So basically, he has 2 years left this year
Yep,
and next year.
yep. So,
So
but he can he. So here's the thing though. But he has the option to do an
to
extension. If he
extension
declines the extension, it goes into the next season as
is
a
an unrestricted free agent.
yeah. He'll go into his last year of the deal. Then just the whole speculation of what's
Yeah,
happening,
the
Also,
whatever.
fall season.
also
Right.
my concern is if they get off to a really slow start, rumors are about to swirl
Oh yeah,
about
it's
Bradley
gonna
Beal.
happen for sure. Yeah.
So so I got him at 41 wins, but I'm not too confident in that number because
Yeah.
I just think the roster construction, their defense, the new coach, and the Bradley Beal situation. If they get up to a really slow start, rumors gonna be starting to fly about where he's gonna be trading next to, does he want out, this and that. So it's we just don't know about this team.
Yeah.
But offensively, they're gonna be a team to watch.
So with this whole Bradley Bill, potentially might being traded, do you guys see a Ben Simmons Bradley Bill deal?
Mm,
I don't think if Bradley Bill asks us out, I don't think the Wizards are trading him in the East. I think he's
I
gonna
think
go
it's time to
west.
go to West.
I think he's gonna go west, and I can see
I can see the Warriors getting them.
not the no. And the reason why I say that because
Steph, Steph Curry.
the
They still got him.
The Wizards are gonna say you got to give me Clay. Like you got to give
Oh
me
yeah.
you can't like
Yeah.
you're not gonna say
And
here's
Clay's not
Wiseman,
no.
Wiggins, here's Moses Moody or whoever the case like whoever's there like you're not gonna no like if I'm trading the Wizards are in the same position as Portland. Like I'm not giving you Damian Lillard or
For
Bradley
nothing,
Beal
just
for
for nothing.
some subpar like player or whatever or like borderline like all star ish player. No, like
I
I
need
need
an
a
all
star back.
star, and
I need
also
a
I'm gonna need
star or
picks.
yeah,
I
and I
need
need
swap
picks in
picks.
return. So I don't see a situation where he goes to Philly. Um, I can or even Golden State. I can see a situation. Bradley Beal probably makes sense to me.
How about this team,
Uh,
Dallas?
I
How
can
about
see Dallas.
Dallas? How
I
about
can see
Dallas?
Dallas. I can see
Because they didn't.
Dallas.
Do they have a two guard with to go with Luca?
No, but you can offer Porzingis. You can offer who else they have over there? You can offer Brunson. You can
Brunson.
offer I forgot the big man's name. Um,
Oh,
Well,
I
who?
know what you're talking about.
or you talking about Powell?
Boban.
Yeah,
Boban.
no,
Boban.
Boban.
Powell. No one, not no one. Powell.
Powell.
Boban.
Boban.
No, not Boban. The other guy,
Oh, Josh Powell.
Josh Powell. Right, that's his name. It
Josh.
sounds
Yeah,
weird.
Josh Powell. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
said Norman Powell.
yeah,
Nah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you now let's get to the Portland Trailblazers, because now if you really want to get crazy, you can say, hey, out and again, fans don't ridicule me for this. This is just talk, right? You can say, I can give you C.J. McCollum and Norman Powell and Nurkic. It may be too
Josh
much,
Powell.
And on top of that, a couple of future
Yeah.
first round
or
picks.
honestly, the team that makes the most sense to me, hands down, is the Denver Nuggets for Bradley Beal.
Mm.
Woo.
Send
Michael
Michael
Porter
Porter
Jr.
Jr. Right? You send Michael Porter Jr. and how dare I say Jamal Murray, but
They're not. They're not.
I don't think they'll give up both of
They're
them,
not going to give them both.
but
Either one of them. But
Michael
Michael Porter
Porter
Jr.
Jr. will be in that deal.
Also, don't mean to cut you off, but he's also on the. He's been his name been swirling around rumors, trade rumors.
Yeah, of
Michael
course,
Porter Jr. So
of course it is. I think, but again, now like if you got to think for future reference, if I do that from the Wizards, I'm gonna have him, Kuzma, and Rui. Like you gotta figure that whole stuff out before we even talk about where Bradley Beal is gonna go. And you never know if Bradley Beal starts to request a trade. Does he say a specific team? Because then that'll just ruin everything, right? So
yeah, because the Wizards are not going to have that leverage.
they're not going to have the leverage because he's going to have 1 year left on his deal. So
Mm.
it's a matter of them like figuring that out. But I think Denver makes the most sense for me for Bradley Beal.
All right, so next team up, the Indiana Pacers. Finished 10th. No, they finished 10th in the East. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, finished ninth in the East. Got a new coach, Rick Carlisle. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at their roster right quick. They still got Miles Turner and Sabonis.
Sabonis, T.J. Warren
Um,
comes back.
yes. They're gonna have to figure out what they want to do with that front court because Miles Turner's on the trade block.
Yeah, I think Miles Turner is gone. I think he gets traded throughout the year. Um,
All right. They still got Malcolm Brogdon, Torrey Craig. They drafted Chris Duarte,
Chris
um,
Duarte is going to be really good for them.
Karis LeVert, DJ McConnell. They re-signed him. Let
So,
me see. The TJ Warren he's still on the show. He's planning on coming back. They got a
so
young roster.
here's the thing with Indiana. Indiana has too many like-minded players at the guard position. If you look at when T.J. Warren comes back, he was the star of the bubble. He would have been the MVP of the bubble, right? Technically,
Hmm.
he is going to come back and be like, "Yeah, I'm the man." But then you're gonna have Karis LeVert, like, "I'm the man," like and then you got Sabonis, who's the star, right? So like it's I'm for me for them, I got them penciled in as another bubble team. Well, sorry, playing team. They'll be fighting with the Wizards, Charlotte, alike to get into the playoffs. Um, I don't know. Their ceiling is playing or like 6 seed. Like that's where the pendulum draws for me with them. And I pencil them in at their their floor at 40. I would say 39, 38 wins, and then their ceiling's at 45.
Um,
What you have penciled them as?
some at their roster right now, that was a good point that you hit on where you know T.J. Warren being that guy in the bubble and Karis LeVert getting traded there last season with expectations of being that guy, and then
Right.
none of them are the guy, and then you get um what's his guy's name? Sabonis. Sabonis being the guy. He was an all star last season. Um I see them being like in the middle of the pack. It's like either one or the other, like nothing in between. Like playing team or probably like about 6 or 7 seed. That's where I can kind of see them. Nothing higher. Um, and they have like a lot of guards on this team, and they just got to figure out like my thing is who's playing behind Miles Turner. You know, he has a lot of upside, a little injury prone a little bit, but that's my main concern about the Indiana Pacers. Um, but like I said, I would see them as probably like a 6, 7 seed, nothing higher, either one or the other. Um, Sabonis had a really, really good season. Hopefully, he can carry on to this year as well too. Um, and I think as far as like Karis LeVert and T.J. Warren, like they got to figure out who's going to be like, all right, either I'm second place, you third place, or matter of fact, you know what, Sabonis, you're the guy, we just going to help you. They got to figure that situation out. Um, but that's why I stand with the Pacers.
So I got the Pacers in between as a playing tournament and lottery because they're gonna be fighting with those other teams with the Wizards, Bulls, Hornets for those last couple playing tournament spots. I don't see him finishing high, no higher than eighth. I can see him. I got him penciling around between 38 and 40 wins. I just think with the new coach of Rick Carlisle, they'll eke out enough wins just to stay in it. Um, they got it's a young roster. They're gonna have to trade Miles Turner at some point because it's between either him or Sabonis. They also got Malcolm Brogdon on a trading block also. So we don't know how that whole guard rotation is gonna go throughout the whole season. Plus
Plus,
they
we got
also
to see what Rick Carlisle wants to do. Like, we got
yeah.
to see what schemes and stuff, what works for him, what doesn't work, and
Yeah,
figure that out.
he's gonna have to establish what identity he wants with the Pacers because last year it was a total mess with that
Yeah.
coaching staff. Um, they'll be consistent, but I just don't think they have enough to at least compete with the top six in the East. Um, and also they drafted Chris Duarte from out of Oregon. So what does that mean for Malcolm Brogdon? Is he
Right.
on the move, or
Right.
do you tend to keep him long term?
Right.
I got questions on this roster. Um, yeah, they're playing. They can go from playing tournament to lottery. So also got them penciling around 38 to 40 wins. The next team up, everyone's NBA League Pass team to watch. The Lamella Ball, Miles Bridges, the Charlotte Hornets. Very interesting team to watch in the East. Your
Hmm.
thoughts?
Go ahead, Amani. You got it.
Um, for one, this really exciting team to watch next year. Like we already seen what LaMelo Ball could do. The pair between him and Miles Bridges. That's gonna be like real fantastic. Just like the Wizards, I feel like they're gonna be like gunners. Like not really high expectations. A lot of young players that's just out there just hooping, playing ball. But you know, it, and I also gotta also mention the addition of like Kelly Oubre as well too. Like I felt like he didn't get like I wouldn't say a fair share deal when he was in Golden State, but that last year he was hooping. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, like him also with Miles Bridges with Lamelo Ball, like these guys are good quality like young dudes that's gonna be out there gunning. Kind of reminds me of the Lakers of let's see, when we had Kobe, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, like a lot of young dudes that's just out there
Hmm.
just
Mm.
ball. Um, Also with Bismack Diamo being a part of the team, like they're gonna be a fun team to watch, a really fun team to watch. Um, as far as like what they're gonna do, say they might just miss the playoffs by like ninth, 10th seed. Um, but I think if they didn't already, they're gonna just like continue to open more eyes and to put the rest of the league on notice. Like, yo, these guys are really, really good. Um, and everybody's definitely gonna tune in because, like I said in the beginning, they have a good young core. And also Gordon Hayward is still with them. So he provides
Right.
that
Yeah.
veteran.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, just they're also pretty deep as well too. Terry Rozier also on that squad as well helps a lot. He had his fair shares with the Boston Celtics past couple of years. So I definitely see the Hornets not cracking the playoffs, but kind of like on the outside looking in.
Yeah. I'm the same. I don't see a huge leap from them. But I do see some improvements. I think Lamelo surprised a lot of people how well he played, and how his game just transitioned so naturally. Um, I think they'll be better than last year, but I still think I, again they're another team that's fighting in the play-in, trying to get into the play-in to make the playoffs. So I got them penciled in roughly 30, 36 to 40 wins.
Okay. Um, I got them around 38 to 40. Last year, if you remember, if it wasn't for Lamelo's wrist injury and Gordon Hayward being out, they would make the playoffs because they were
Right.
in. I think they were like in the top four in the East at one point in the season. And then once the injuries happened, they stumbled towards the finish line. They're gonna be one of my teams to watch, especially on League Pass. They're young, they're really athletic. They also got Ish Smith from Washington, so that's
Gunner.
gonna add more that's gonna add more on the guard on the back court. I just think they're gonna eke out enough wins to be competitive, like last they did last year. Um, I see them being in that whole playing tournament. I could see them going from being like one of those bottom tier 6, 7 in the East to a playing tournament. I think this with Lamelo being his second year, he's gonna be much more better than last year. His game's gonna be much more improved than last year, and I just see them being one of those pesky teams that you don't want to face in the if they get in the playoffs early. You don't want to play them because the style of play, the way they play offense, they run up and down. But also my concern with them, along with Washington, is their defense. Like, who are they going to stop? Are they going to get enough stops on defense to win games?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm not sure. I don't see it, but they're going to be real entertaining to watch. It's just based on what they did last year and with the pieces they got with Kelly Oubre, Ish Smith. Um, they also added Jaden McDaniels in the draft. So, and also another year under Gordon Hayward. If he remains healthy, they're going to be one of those teams that could sneak up into the playoff standings and be one of those teams that can sneak in a couple of playoff wins in a series. All right, so next team up, the Chicago Bulls. A very, very, very busy offseason by the Bulls.
Mhm.
Yep.
Upgraded the roster, starting five, add on DeMar DeRozan, Nicholas Vucevic. Also, they still have Zach Levine, who's on a contract year. So there's
Alex
so basically the
Caruso.
Bulls. Alex Caruso they got, so they're desperately trying to make the playoffs with this roster.
Mm-hmm.
And also which tells me that they're desperately trying to keep Zach LaVine long term.
Yep.
Mhm.
So your
I
thoughts?
I see this team being in the middle of the pack. Especially like you mentioned, like they did a lot of stuff this free to see. One of them was fan favorite of the Lakers, Alex Caruso. Like that's a good pickup for them, and also still having Kobe White as well too. Pretty much got two dogs on the team at the guard position. I'm just My question is just the pairing between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Like, you got two dudes who both need the ball in their hands to score. Um, just trying to figure out that pair. Now we know that Lonzo's going to be completely unselfish with the ball. That's who he
Right.
is. But as
Hmm.
far as like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, two dudes who need the ball in their hand, like how is that going to look? Vucevic, I'm not really worried about. And Patrick Williams is looking like he has a lot of upside. So I can definitely see the team being like middle of the pack. Like on paper, just seeing it. But my main concern is just the who's going to control the ball between both Zach Levine and DeMar DeRozan. So, like I said, middle of the pack, probably say about 40 to 45 wins. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm probably like maybe 40. You guys can hear me clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll say about probably like 40 to the 48 wins. Like I can definitely see the Chicago Bulls making some noise this season. And I feel like, now that they got a kind of like, all right, we can watch this team, you know, you look up, you see banners, you see, all these great that play for that organization. It low key should inspire you, like, yo, let's get back in the playoffs, let's make some noise. So that's where I got the Bulls at.
Yeah. I got Chicago middle of the pack. Between they can go from 4 all the way down to 7. Um, I think offensively they'll be very cohesive. Because Lonzo, his ability to be able to control the offense. Um, DeMar DeRozan with his mid-range jump shot. Then you have an explosive star in Zach LaVine, and you also have an inside presence with Vooch. The only thing is, defensively, they're going to be terrible because you only have one player in that starting five who can really defend, and that's Lonzo.
That's
Um,
Lonzo.
you have Alex Caruso off the bench who can defend as well. So that'll help. But I think the Bulls will be an exciting team to watch. I just think Chicago, they can be from 4 all the way down to 7. Like it's like hit or miss with them, and we got to see how those pieces line up together. Especially with the DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine tandem. Um, but I think they'll be a formidable team, and I'm pretty sure they're a lock for a playoff spot in the East.
Indeed. Indeed.
Uh, I'm not as high on the Bulls as both of y'all are. They
Really?
still have Kobe White as a guard, so you're gonna have him come off the bench, replacing Lonzo. So Lonzo placing him as a point guard. Also, you still got Patrick Williams, the number 4 pick from the draft a couple years ago. They need him to hit. So with the new additions, you're taking away minutes from both those guys. So
Mm,
now, so now the starting five is okay. They're fine. I'm really concerned about their bench and their defense because who else is going to guard and who else is going to fill those necessary minutes with, because Lonzo is health wise has been he has problems with injuries. Also, DeMar DeRozan. So where is the bench production going to come from if those two guys are down, or if he needs to spell minutes for them? Defensively, what Ernest has said, it's gonna get real ugly for them. But they do have pieces that they can at least stem the tide. They just signed Alize Johnson from Brooklyn.
Hmm.
If he's on a two-way. Um,
Listen, that deal that they did to get Derrick Jones Jr. was also good. He
yeah,
also
they also
has
got Derrick
he
Jones
also
Jr.
has defensive and athleticism on the wing. So, um,
So
again, I
it's
don't think they'll
to
be
me it's
as
just like
bad,
how.
but they'll be bad.
So I see them in that old playing tournament fight with with Charlotte, Indiana, Boston. I think they're gonna be fighting with Boston for a seventh, just because of the talent upgrade. As far as where they finish in this, as far as playoffs, I can see them first round exit around 39 to 40, 30 to 40 wins. So that's my take on them. Next team, so we got four more teams from the East, so we're gonna wrap it up. So we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire to close out this session.
Yeah, that's just like
The Toronto Raptors,
not making the playoffs. They won't be even the playing team.
Ronnie.
I'm over here. Y'all can hear me clear? Because I know, like,
Yeah, I can hear you.
when we talking about the Bulls, like, it was just
Yeah, we're
chopping
on.
up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so we're on the Raptors now.
What? Hold on. What? What team are we on right now?
Raptors.
Raptors.
Oh, Toronto. Ah, man,
I got them
it's
not
crazy.
making the playoffs, and they're
Yeah,
not going to be a playing team at all. They're going to be terrible.
yeah, it's crazy how 3 years makes a difference. Like, what can happen in 3 years? Like, this team went from winning the chip to like strip of like all the pieces. Like,
For
no
real.
So
Kawhi,
they
no
tanked.
Kyle
They
Lowry.
tanked.
Yeah, like what the hell happened? But I mean, you know, I feel like we should have all understood that like their championship window was just that 1 year when they had Kawhi. Like they should have knew what they was up against. When they got Kawhi on the team. Nothing further. I feel like they could have. They try to make Pascal like the guy. He's very skilled, but I don't know. Sometimes watching could be a bit frustrating. You know what I mean? Like the dude is talented, but like, come on, you gotta show me something, especially when the whole team is like depending on you now. But not making the playoffs, also like middle of the pack when it comes to like the draft and stuff like that. That's my take on Toronto on the North.
So I got them just outside the play-in lottery team. Got them finished around 11th and 12th. 34 to 32, 34 wins. They're in rebuild mode. Um, Masai Ujiri, I think Masai has something up his sleeve going down the road the next 2 years. I think he's rebuilding now to get young pieces to rebuild for 2025, because that's when the next crop of 2024, 2025, that's when the next crop of free agents, big time free agents, are going to be available. So
Hmm.
I see them stemming the tide, tanking, getting top picks, and then using that collateral to to make a play for the major free agents in 2023, 2024, 2025. So this year, lottery just outside of the playing tournament, 32 to 34 wins. All right, so next team, Cleveland Cavaliers.
um,
Land of the
yeah. Evan Mobley's going to be really good for them. I think his ceiling is Anthony Davis ish. Um,
Yep.
I just think are they the only team? I mean, probably besides the Lakers, who are going to run a two big man lineup with
Seems like
Jared
it.
Allen and Evan Mobley, right? And then you
It
still got
seems like it.
you got Laurie Marketing and Kevin Love. Like I don't know what they're doing in Cleveland. Um, but I don't know, man. I think they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be really good. I they're going to trade Colin Sexton. That's happening. We just don't know where and when. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sold or no, nor am I excited to see the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. When these sides not making the playoffs, pretty much same thing they did. Probably a little bit better, like let's say about 25 wins. They won 22 games last season, so about three more wins, probably like between 20 and 30. Like Ernest said, Evan Mobley is going to have a really, really good season. Um, and like I said, the land of the big men. Like we don't know what's up with Kevin Love. He most likely
Hmm.
end up being traded to like a contender or somebody. But yeah, I just have no expectations of the Cavaliers. It's going to be fun to watch Evan Mobley, fun to watch Jared Allen, but outside of that, it's just like whatever. So
Hmm. Uh, Same with you guys. Lottery team, 30 wins. Um, they did upgrade with they signed Ricky Rubio. Um, what does that mean for Colin Sexton? He's been on the trading block since June. So the only time we saw when he gets traded, Kevin Love, they're saying that they're not trying to buy him out. I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
Like
I'm not buying it. It
he's
doesn't
not
matter of how much money
he's
he wants to give up.
like
That's all that is.
basically it's basically a ploy to like to not get him to pay his rest of the salary. So I think he's out. He's been done since last year.
I think
Um,
I think he winds up being a Laker via buyout.
eh,
Only because he's from LA. UCLA, the Lakers have a roster spot open. And then I
yeah.
think they might lose Marc Gasol. I just feel like Kevin Love the writing's on the wall for that. But
Hmm. But Evan Mobley, he's gonna be a stud. So looking forward to seeing him develop and really be one of the top rookies in this year. Um, Other than that, it's just 30 wins, maybe 25. 30 wins might be kind of high for this team. I
yeah,
can I see maybe 25 to 29 wins, just because of the roster, and they just don't have. They're not even there yet as a playoff contender. Um, Last two teams, the Orlando Magic.
I,
They do have Jalen Suggs. So, and other than that, they still got Jonathan Isaacs. Um, they still got what's his name? Markel Fultz.
yeah, they'll be entertaining to watch. Young team. Who knows? I'm interested to see Mo Bamba's development. Um, but I don't expect really nothing from them either. Like I
Um,
playing team, no. Lottery team, yes. I would say they win no more than 28 games.
hmm, 28 games. Okay. Um,
They're going to be really bad.
I'm kind of interested to see how this dynamic of Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony works out because they got lucky in the draft by the Raptors not selecting Jalen Suggs, so they lucked into selecting him. So now you
Right.
got Cole. Also, you got Cole Anthony, R.J. Hampton, um, and Markel Fultz. So they got
Right.
a glut. They got a glut as in the starting point guard rotation. Um, Also, they still got Gary Harris from the trade last year, and also Michael Carter Williams. So they got a large him at the guard rotation. Who gets moved? I don't know. I'm hearing Markel Fultz in the trading rumors. Terrence Ross, he's also in the trading block. Uh, they also got a new coach, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I forget it. I forget the name. I gotta look them up. But yeah, lottery team. Can they push for a playing tournament spot? Uh, I don't know. Um, 30 wins, maybe 30 to 32 wins. That may be too high of a watermark. It might be a little. That might be a little push, but they'll be one of the bottom teams in the East. just because of the way their roster is constructed, the talent. They do have a lot of young talent, but it's a glut at the point at the guard rotation.
Yeah.
And I don't think they don't have enough in the front court. They only got Robert Lopez as a starting center, and I don't know who their part and their power forward. Um, who's their power forward? Because
Jonathan Isaac.
Jonathan Isaac. Okay,
Yeah, he's
so
hurt. I don't know how
and
he's
he's
not
Yeah.
looking to
and
get
I think
back.
he's hurt. So I'm not sure about them. Lottery team, yes. Playing tournament. If somehow if they can
It's gonna
muster
take a
enough,
it's gonna take a
it
miracle.
is going to take a miracle. It's going to take a miracle for them to. They did
Yeah.
finish with the second worst record in the East, so yeah, it's more of a lottery team for me.
Yeah.
Around 30 wins, 25 to 30 wins.
All right, same here. 25 to 30 wins, like no expectations at all. I know we were just talking about Jonathan Isaac. I want to see like what he can do, but he's just been just like, injury prone. And I also want to see what Cole Anthony can do, especially in the second year. And like, yo, what's up with Mo Bamba, man? Because like, old boy had a song made
Hmm.
by him. Like, what's good? What's up? You know what I mean? Like, you
He
can't
hasn't
be
lived up
like.
to it.
Right. You can't just say Obama and be like, oh yeah, that's Sheikh West. So like, no, like, have people put some respect on your name. And so,
Right.
like I said, no expectations about the Orlando Magic. I'm just, sitting back and, like you said, it's gonna have to take a miracle for them to get into a play-in or even a playoff seeding. But just sit back and just enjoy the ride, see what these guys can do.
All right, and the last team that got the first pick of the draft,
Detroit basketball.
Detroit Pistons. You know what? I know they finished. They went finished 20 wins last year. Their roster is not that bad. If you really look at it, you got Kate Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Hamadou Diallo, Jeremy Grant, Josh Jackson. I mean, they do have a really nice young core. Also, they signed Kelly Olynyk. So, will this team be? Will this team have enough to be in a playing team? No, but they'll be really entertaining to watch, especially
Yeah.
with Kate Cunningham as a starting point guard, and with the young core and Dwayne Casey. This could be the Pistons could be a team that they can sneak up and steal wins during the season and probably finish around 32 to 35 wins. It might sound like a lot of wins for them, but I can see it happening with this team. What are your thoughts?
I see them uh, around like pretty much like 30. I think 35 wins like a little too much. Kind of like peaking out of the playoffs. Probably like maybe uh 10th or 11th seeding. Um, I think Caves is like in for a really good year. Um, and I feel like Jeremy Grant, he gotta prove some people because when he went to Detroit last year, we was all like what? Like we was all concerned whether he could be the guy on the team. So now he has help and like good quality help. So
Hmm.
we could definitely see. I could definitely see them, winning a couple more games than they won last year. Um, as far as being a playoff lot, that's a negative, not happening. But it's gonna be a fun team to watch. Like usually when the team that comes in that year with the number one draft pick, all eyes is on them. So probably 10, about 10, 11 seed, maybe 12 seed for me.
Detroit is not going to be good. Um, Kay Cunningham has promise, um, but I think like what his role is going to be because Jeremy Grant is the number one option on that team. Defensively, they really won't be that great. Bottom of the pack, Eastern Conference team. I I don't even see them even hunting for a
Mm,
play-in game. I just think they have some ways away to get to where they need to go.
okay. All right. So we covered all the Eastern Conference teams for this podcast for today.
Yep.
Um, we'll do an announcement on we're gonna do on our second episode of the Swoosh Who's podcast. The next one we'll do the same with the Western Conference. Um, and it's gonna be and I tell you, the Western Conference has got a lot more interesting to me, just because of the moves and the teams that made the moves and teams that stand packed. It's gonna be interesting to see where those teams finish up and how the teams are will play out the season.
Yep. Interesting
So
stuff to talk about for sure.
so let's have let's let us each one of us sign out and tell us where you can find us and yeah, start with you, Armani.
It's been real. See you on the next episode. Like Eric said, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to talk about as far as the Western Conference because a lot of things happen. I'm pretty sure Ernest and I we're ready for the season to start, man. That's what I gotta say, like we're for a good one, but I'm definitely really excited to talk about the Western Conference because
Yes,
we love it.
sir.
So, but yeah, so Armani, I'm signing out.
Ernest.
Yeah. So you can hit me on Instagram, live earnestly. On Twitter, Ernest Booker 88 at Twitter. Um, can't wait for the season to start. Our next episode is gonna be real crazy, real informative, right? Well, that Western Conference is pretty dicey. So, but look out for our next episode announcement, and hopefully we'll have some guests on the show soon. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.
Yes. So Eric signing off. Instagram, EricL Beats. Twitter, EricL Beats. Um, Facebook, EricL Beats. We're also trying on Twitch, EricL Beats 24. So it's our first episode of the Swoosh Swoosh podcast. This episode one, episode two. We'll announce the live broadcast soon. Just subscribe and like our channel. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure hit the notification button to see when our next live broadcast will be on. Also, we're gonna try to also put this in audio form. So if you missed the live broadcast, we'll put this in audio form for you to listen to on your podcast on what you listen to. So yeah, so this is our first episode. Look out for us. We're gonna provide a whole lot more content because training camp is 4 weeks away. December 28th it starts. Preseason starts a couple of days after October 3rd, and then regular season starts October 19th. So the season is gonna the days gonna be coming quick. Seasons are gonna be starting up, and rumors are gonna be flying. NBA news gonna be starting up real soon. So we're gonna do our best to keep up with the news. So keep it locked in and just look out for us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. We're gonna try to at least get that, push it out on more, and also don't forget to subscribe to our Instagram channel, the Swoosh Hoops. I'm trying to say right, the Swoosh Hoops podcast on IG. So just keep an eye out for that. Follow and subscribe to our channel. And with that being said, enjoy your night. I'm happy that you guys participated and tuned into our channel. Hopefully, y'all got informed on the teams that we previewed. If you didn't like our assessment, please comment into the comment section. Just give your opinion. And from there, we'll just say good night and just look out for us. Hopefully, in the next couple of days for season 2, right? So, from all of us, signing off. See you next time on the Swoosh Woosh podcast.
Peace.
Peace. All right.